Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for Florida Shines Virtual College Week. My name is Nashla Dawari. I will be facilitating today's session, which will help you be successful with your online classes. Before we begin, I want to share a few items with you. If you have questions during the session, please put them in the Q&A box, and we'll address them during the live Q&A with our speaker or in a follow-up email. Closed captioning is provided for this session. You can click the link in the chat box provided. This session will also be recorded. Recording along with any material shared today will be posted on our website at floridashines.org. And finally, we are live on Twitter, so feel free to share your comments and connect with us at FLShines. Now, for those of you that are not familiar, Florida Shines empowers all Floridians to earn a college degree and find a bright career by providing free online tools to help students, parents, and educators. We work with all of Florida's colleges and universities and other partners to help students succeed in school and beyond. From floridashines.org, as a middle or high school student, you can explore Florida's colleges and universities. You can check your progress for high school graduation. You can also view your Bright Future Scholarship eligibility. You can learn ways to pay for college and so much more. So I'll invite you to visit floridashines.org for more information. Today, I'm really excited to partner with a wonderful expert in the field of online learning. I'd like to introduce our speaker, Carla Pagan. She is from Central Florida and currently with the online department at Florida International University in South Florida. She is a college recruiter for the online undergraduate programs. She completed her Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice at FIU, partially online, and she's currently studying to receive her Master of Arts in Global Affairs, fully online at FIU as well. As you can see, she's very knowledgeable of all the aspects of online learning, both from being a student herself and working with students in online programs. So Carla, thank you for being with us today.
And good afternoon. Thank you so much for that introduction. So everyone, welcome to Succeeding in School with Online Courses. As discussed, I do work as a current college recruiter in South Florida for the online department at my university. And when I actually first got to college, I never thought about taking online courses until my second semester, when it finally hit me that it was getting a little bit harder to wake up for those 8 a.m. early classes. But now, after around 5 years of taking online courses for my own degrees, I'm currently completing my graduate degree fully online. So today, I will be discussing 3 specific topics. These topics are preparing for online classes, succeeding in online classes, and the general comparison between online versus on campus. Throughout this presentation, I do want you all to think about the topics and tips and how they can possibly relate to you and help you when you are looking into the different colleges, universities, and looking at even the different online or on-campus learning formats that can help you complete a degree. Important things to remember throughout this presentation as well is that school will always be a balancing act. Whether you are online or on campus, you will always be managing your time for school, possible job opportunities, and yourself. It's important to remember that online is great as it does give you more time to focus on other things, but it is always important to remember that online courses are as similar to on-campus courses that are offered at the school that you are looking at. And they're not necessarily considered the easy route, but they are helpful and can be more convenient as long as you're prepared to take these online courses. For online classes is great, and you finally get to study exactly what you really want and go towards a career and goal. Over the next couple of slides, we will be going over some great tips on preparing yourself for online courses that has helped me a lot when I was completing my own degree. Most importantly, the biggest tip that I have for preparing preparing for online classes is to use your resources. You yourself are your biggest resource. Whether you are reading, doing research, or even asking general questions when speaking with college recruiters, it is always important to remember that you are your greatest asset when going into college or learning about the different opportunities that you can go into. Another important thing is communication, whether it's your current guidance counselor in high school or with your academic advisor once you are in that college or university area. With your academic advisor, they can speak with you about any kind of degree plan, depending on your major, to kind of help you take similar courses to help you ease into your program. Academic advisors are also there to assist you in things all academic, even if you are solely online as a student or doing both on campus and online courses as a hybrid student. They're even there to help you make the best academic choices possible, even if it is switching from different majors, just to find what you're about and what you like to study. Thing is, don't be afraid to ask any questions to others as well. Most kids right now, or adults even, are in the same boat, still trying to figure out what they would like to do after possible graduation or after a couple of years working. Any information that other people can share with you can also be helpful. Tip in the resources area is to always make sure that you are being aware of the expectations of the program or the courses that you're taking. Think exactly about what you're studying and why you possibly chose that program. Not everyone stays in the major that they choose, so it's always okay to think carefully about what you're going into and taking courses in, especially online courses. Once you are able to find out what you kind of want to study and learn about, make sure you understand what skills or courses that you may need for that program. Take me, for example. When I found out I wasn't so good at Statistics 1, I kind of decided I wasn't cut out to be a business major. Tool I found helpful for choosing and looking into online courses was ratemyprofessors.com. This website can help students that are currently in colleges or universities look up teachers at their current schools to see what other students might have said about their courses or even their workload. This is a good tool to use to help you view other student experiences. Always keep in mind that sometimes you might not be able to just choose another professor depending on the course that you're taking or the program you're in. And you might not know what exactly you'll be learning until you experience it. But you can still use this resource to help prepare yourself. Important tip to review your syllabus. The syllabus is very important to look over when beginning in a class because this will contain important information on the course you'll be taking. It will give you an idea of what you'll be studying in the course, how much reading there might be, what kind of assignments you might be doing, and it'll generally acquaint you with the professor's expectations of a student in their own course. Knowing what to expect will help keep you focused and not so much overwhelmed as you'll be an online student. It may seem repetitive. The professor will make sure you go back to it just so you know it like the back of your hand. In my experience, I found it a little bit easier to keep track of my assignments by using my syllabus and planning ahead as an online student. The syllabus can also contain important information to any possible university policies, just as plagiarism, or even policies regarding the professor's late assignment policies, or even big term papers that they might have. It can also contain their contact information, giving you a chance to reach out to them whenever you might have specific questions. Online student, your professor will still be there to assist you with any questions or concerns that you may have, and they're only usually an email away. Another big tip is to always make sure that you're prepared to use all of the different tools, support, and technology required for these online courses. As an online student, sometimes the way you take quizzes or exams might be a little bit different. For example, when I was in school, I took exams using an application called Respondus Lockdown Browser. This allows students to take exams without being able to open up different browsers in that examination. Some other colleges and universities could possibly use an application called ProctorU, where you take an exam that is proctored via a webcam. Universities might also allow the chance of students to possibly take exams on campus, but of course they do offer these two applications so that as an online student, you're not required to come to the campus. For online courses, there can also be all kinds of different support. Online tutoring, online career and development services, and an online library for support and technology that is being used. Courses may even require different softwares to complete the assignments, and it's always important that you're making sure that you have access to everything that you need and that you're prepared to use those resources. This leads me to another point as well. You always need to make sure that your computer can handle whatever information, program, applications needed for your courses. Even the browsers can be a little iffy as well. To make sure that you're always being organized. This is important to prepare yourself for different assignments that might happen during the week or even the next week, just so that you're prepared to complete these assignments. Tip for preparing for online courses is to make connections and get excited. If you're an enrolled online student, don't be afraid to connect with other students in the introductions, even though you might be an online student. You may find friends with similar interests anywhere and everywhere around the world in online courses. Some students can be in states and even in different countries. As an online student, you are not the only one going through the course. In my experience, reaching out and creating a possible group chat or an email message can help you learn more about your classmates and possibly help by creating any study groups or answering each other's questions about the possible lectures. While online classes may require a little bit of adjusting, they ultimately give students an immense amount of freedom and flexibility. If you've taken online classes, any comments or anything you can share with other students can potentially be to them as well. Also, don't be afraid to introduce yourself to your professor either. It can help make connections. Assert yourself so that your professor remembers your name, although being in an online class, if you ever need a recommendation in the future for work or for even grad school. Succeeding in online classes. You're finally in college, and it is important to use all the tools at your disposal to succeed and get that A no matter what. When it comes to online classes, you need to have the discipline to sit down and say to yourself, I will work on this, as well as the dedication to actually follow through and complete your assignment. Though you can be flexible as when you can complete your work during the week, it'd be bad to put it off indefinitely. If you choose to enroll in an online class, dedication and discipline are musts for success. Understanding how a course or a program or a degree might be going can help in the future and help keep you motivated to continue even when you feel like quitting. One of the easiest ways to ensure follow through is to remember that you are paying for this online course just as you would for a traditional in-person class. Over these next couple of minutes, I'll be going over a couple of tips to succeed in online courses that I felt helpful or that I wish that I had someone tell me while completing my own degree. Tips on being successful in online courses. The number one tip that I have here is to go ahead and set goals and manage your time appropriately. This is extremely important because online courses can give you the flexibility to create your own schedule, and that is one of the biggest appeals usually. But that freedom can also be a little bit detrimental if you don't have solid time management skills. It's always important to go back to the syllabus and plan out how you'll do your assignments based on their due dates and workload. Scheduling times to study is also important. You never know how many readings you might have for all the different courses that you're currently taking. And this can allow you to not have to cram around 10 chapters in one night for just one assignment. And I definitely do speak from experience in this area. Another important tip I have is to use all of your available resources. Most colleges and universities offer online technical support, online tutoring, and so much more for their students. All you have to do is really ask. For example, at when I was in school, some schools offer online success coaching where there can be an extra guide for the fully online students. Some other schools can offer their links and information readily available for the student on their websites or in their email so that they don't have to reach out if they don't feel as comfortable. Important tip is to take notes. I know this can seem a little bit repetitive since we've all been taking notes for as long as we've been in school, but notes are very important, especially when you may have to watch an online lecture video. Writing down any notes or any questions can help when doing assignments or creating discussion posts that are required for some classes. Writing down potential questions can also help if you plan on reaching out to your professor about something that you might have missed so that they can help assist you in that course. Always dedicate a time for school each day and isolate yourself from distractions when trying to take the time to take these notes. Important tip is to connect with others and ask questions. Communication is always key, and with others in your course, it can be helpful and necessary. People may think that online schooling is kind of a way to avoid talking to other students. This isn't true. In order to fully understand certain material in lectures, even online, seeing another person's point of view on the subject matter can really help. This is kind of where group chats may work in a sense for online courses, because you get to bounce each other's opinions or ideas from the lecture learned. Some of the students in your class can also be different areas. They can be just taking online courses as an on-campus student, where they are still coming to campus and studying there, or they can be taking courses as a fully online student, when they never usually come to campus and study in other areas, even internationally. It is still good to make connections with people who are in your online classes because it can help you get answers to questions that you might have about different areas as well. And if you ever feel yourself falling behind, don't be afraid to speak up. Do not wait until an assignment is almost due just to ask questions or report any issues that you might be seeing in the assignment. Always communicate with your professor and be proactive in asking for help. A wise person once said, ask questions because if you're confused, others might be as well. I don't know who said that, but that's still very important to me. Tip that I have is to beat the deadlines by setting pre-deadlines. If you can, always try to go with turning in your assignments earlier just to free up your own time to do things and give yourself a sense of satisfaction. Generally, when I turn in my assignments early, I like to reward myself by playing, video games or even watching Netflix. Important thing is don't forget to take care of yourself and take breaks whenever you need them. Always reward yourself for good grades on assignments. Some courses can be very tough, online or on campus, so a reward here and there can always be motivational. To also take breaks. Sometimes your brain might feel a little fried if you're stuck reading a chapter or a question over and over just to help you. Breaks can help you clear your mind so come back to your schoolwork or that question, you can come back with a clear head and a possible solution. Personally, my mind becomes a little bit numb after hours of looking at my own computer screen. So usually I find that stepping away and taking a few minutes to myself is kind of a way to rejuvenate my brain and clear my head of any issues. versus on campus. Deciding between on campus and online learning environment is not a choice to be. Before you dive into a program, discover what method suits your learning style and personality best. Online may seem strange, but I promise it's just like an on campus course without the 7 a.m. wake up time or the terrible traffic and horrible parking hassles that almost all on campus students and even school employees face. The applications process may be a little bit different depending on the college or university between online and on campus. Schools' admission may vary among them. For example, at FIU, we actually do use the same requirements for admissions for all of our students, whether they are online and on campus. Typically, the only thing that differs in that area is if the student is transfer or if the student is a freshman. It's also always important to look out for any different deadlines that may occur in the different colleges or universities that you are currently looking at. Deadlines for different programs and different learning formats can vary as well. This is why it's always important for you all to do the research you can for any colleges or universities that you're currently looking at just to assist yourself and be prepared. My comparison between online and on campus, I actually decided to use the current university that I work at. Of course, it will differ between the different schools that you are looking at, colleges or universities. But for this, I did want to go ahead and use my own university because I have experience in both areas. The difference between on-campus and online for FIU is that on-campus students are not assigned a personal enrollment coordinator for that one-on-one guidance throughout the process. But of course, like all students, they get to use the one-stop office for any questions or concerns that they may have. FIU Online actually assigns an enrollment coordinator to help guide the applicant through the application process for the fully online programs, until they're able to officially enroll in courses for the term that they applied for. Another major difference between on-campus and online at FIU is the orientation. For on-campus, orientation can be available either in person or virtually, but it may come at an additional cost to the student. For online, they offer a free online virtual orientation a student can complete once they are active in our system. Important difference is that on-campus students are usually required to provide either immunization records or extra information in order to attend. For the fully online students, they usually are not required to provide these records as they will not be coming to the campus to study. Lastly, on campus for FIU could possibly have success coaching, but of course it is very limited to the specific academic programs that we offer, if available. The online students, they have access to an online success coach as an added layer of support throughout the time they're in the program at FIU Online. Importantly, it's always good to strive for success. The first online learning experience can be a little intimidating for anyone, but once you get the hang of it, you will do just fine. One major thing to take back is get excited. College is different, but it's still exciting. The first step is doing your own research, going through the applications process, getting admitted, and then enrolling in courses. Online classes are an excellent option to help you earn that degree you need to fulfill your goals. But you will always need to be prepared to use the tools and resources provided by the colleges and universities that you are looking into in order to be successful in those online courses. Always keep in mind that online classes are still similar to on-campus classes, and they're not exactly the easy route, meaning a bad grade will still affect you. Easy tips like the ones explained previously can kind of help you keep yourself on your way towards your degree. Questions?
Thank you so much, Carla. And yes, I'd like to invite our audience at this time to send in your questions in the Q&A box. We have a couple of questions coming in, Carla, and I wanted to thank you for sharing such a wealth of resources, certainly reiterating how important it is to know your strengths, your interests, and work on staying organized so that you can do your research ahead of time and make a really well-informed decision about the path that you're going to take. So really helpful information. Carla, there's a couple of questions about certainly completing courses online, and you mentioned this, but to reiterate, are students able to complete a full degree online?
So if I do speak, from my university, we have the ability where a student can complete a degree fully online depending on the major. So they will always have to kind of look at the universities that they're looking at and see if they do offer specific majors fully online, because some may not be offered fully online.
Absolutely. So always good to check with the school you're looking at. Carla, another question related to resources. So online tutoring, advising, other areas that can help students be successful. Is there usually a cost for those online resources for online students?
No, so these are provided from the university, the same as on-campus students would get those resources if they came to the campus.
Okay, so good to know. And do some online courses still require you to come to campus?
So, in my experience, some courses may require that exams or tests be at a testing site, but it wouldn't be at the physical campus. For example, let's say if I had a student studying at FIU who lives in Washington, if their course ever needed an examination taken in an on-campus learning format, they can always go to a testing site near them, as long as they communicate with their professor. But they're not required to come directly to the campus for anything. They do have the option of doing so.
Absolutely, and you talked about the importance of the syllabus. That's probably information that's there as well, so it's always a good idea to request it ahead of time if you can. Like you said, connect with your professors. In terms of attendance, Carla, are the attendance policies similar to what a non-campus course would be like?
That's such a good question, actually. So, some courses usually provide online lectures where the professor will request that a student can try, if they cannot, to meet at the meeting time, or they will have them recorded so that the student may look back at that information and kind of pose those any questions that they might have to the professor. So it's a little bit different when it comes to attendance. Of course, with an online course, you always have to keep yourself in check. But most professors will let them know that they can always access that at another time if they can't physically access it at the time that it's happening.
Absolutely. So those are all good questions and certainly good resources for students to know. Carla, that is the end of our questions from the audience here. Do you have any final thoughts or comments for our audience?
The most important thing I would want everyone to take is to always do your research and get excited. This is your future, and you are in control of your future wherever you go.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Carla, as I mentioned, for sharing such a wealth of resources. For our audience today, I'd like to invite you to join us next at 5 o'clock for a financial aid, everything you need to know about financial aid session, and then at 6 o'clock this evening for everything you need to know about resources on Florida Shines. We also have sessions tomorrow. If you have additional questions, you can always contact us either on floridashines.org or email us at help@flvc.org. So thank you, Carla, again for your time, and we'll see you online.
Thank you so much.